Hello, everyone here. My name's Skylar, and my sister-in-law Julia was the one who suggested that I share my story. As you can tell, Julia and I are super close. It was actually through her that I met my now husband Noah. Julia and I used to work at the same company before my relationship with Noah. She was the one who introduced us, and I am super grateful she did. Noah and I got it off and are now married. Now, Julia and Noah are truly amazing people, but their mom, Susan, is not. Susan hated the shit out of me when we were introduced. She straight up told me that she hated me. Noah was pretty taken aback and tried his best to change Susan's mind. I tried to change Susan's mind too until I realized what a psycho she is. I won't go into detail about what she did. My God, that woman made my life hell. I can just tell you what she did at my wedding. She poured wine on herself and blamed me for intentionally destroying her dress. No one believed her, of course, but my day was ruined anyway. Noah and I fought a lot about his mom, but nothing ever came out of it. Susan was a single mom who clung to Noah like the plague. Naturally, Noah was conditioned to excuse and overlook all of her behavior. The incident I'm going to talk about happened on my first anniversary. By then, Susan had already messed up many of my big days and done some outrageous shit. She was the prime topic of argument between me and Noah. Noah didn't support his mom, but also couldn't agree to cutting contact. Susan was thrilled with Noah's support and continued to devise plans to get rid of me. For my anniversary, she drove to our city and stayed over at our house for a few days. I was already pretty anxious about having her under my roof, but imagine my condition when Julia suddenly called me and said, Skylar, there's something important I need to tell you. Sure, go ahead and tell me, Julia. What's going on? Is it about Susan? God, you are intuitive. Yes, it's about my crazy mom again. This time, she is crossing all limits. She wants to embarrass and humiliate you on your anniversary. What the hell? Why won't this woman leave me alone? What has she planned this time? We were all quite familiar with my dear mother-in-law's antics. She loved to create unnecessary scenes and find a way to humiliate me. She really hated me that much. Noah did stand up for me, and so did Julia, but it wasn't enough to make her stop. I wanted to cut off Susan for good, but Noah wouldn't allow that. She was his mom, and he wanted her in his life. We had countless arguments about it. It was a very sore spot in our marriage. I was reluctant to even invite Susan to our anniversary, but of course Noah wanted her there. Anyway, Julia confirmed that I wasn't delusional. Susan did bring bad news and bad vibes with her. But I wasn't prepared to hear what Susan was planning this time. Mom is going to frame you for stealing her heirloom necklace. She has it all planned, although she didn't give me any details. I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. What on earth, Julia? This is just too much. She's trying to brand me as a criminal now? She is convinced that if she can prove you to be a criminal, Noah will finally leave you. She sounded very determined, Skylar. You have to be careful. Don't worry, Julia. I will keep my eyes out for her. I was already getting annoyed at Susan again. This was my first anniversary. I had huge plans for this day. Sure, I didn't make a lot of arrangements or have a grand party, but my close friends and family members were coming. I was hoping to have a good time with everyone, but now I have to worry about Susan. I thought about telling Noah what Julia told me, but something stopped me. Noah needed to do better when it came to defending me from his mom. Susan was taking advantage of Noah's weakness for her. Noah needed to see how bad his mom was and cut her off for good, so I kept an eye on Susan and didn't tell Noah. But I never caught Susan in the act. The day of the anniversary party arrived, and still I wasn't able to catch Susan. Julia arrived a day earlier and couldn't do anything either, but shit was about to go down. Susan decided that it would be wise to come and threaten me before she did what she wanted to do. While I was over refilling my drink, she pulled me aside and said, "You must be having a great time, Skylar. You arranged this fancy party to celebrate your marriage and think you won. Well, you didn't win, Skylar. What is this nonsense, Susan? How does my marriage anniversary have anything to do with winning and losing? Oh, don't act so innocent. I bet you're happy stealing my son from me. Noah has been getting distant from me because of you. You think you can take him away from me? I won't allow it. Say your prayers, because you are going down soon. Susan's threat again confirmed that she had indeed planned something. Even though I couldn't catch her before the anniversary, I knew I had a way to prove my innocence if necessary. Julia stuck close to me after she saw her mom corner me at the party. We were both just waiting for Susan to strike and start her ridiculous drama. The party was in full swing when Susan suddenly excused herself to go wear her jewelry. And apparently she had forgotten to wear it. Julia looked at me with a hint of understanding in her eyes. I nodded to confirm that I was thinking what she was thinking. We simply waited for a few minutes before we heard it. Susan shrieked. It sounded like a cat dying, but anyways, she ran downstairs with a shocked face and became anxious. She said, "Oh my God, my necklace is missing and so are my earrings. Where did it go? I went to wear it, but it's gone now. What am I going to do?" "Mom, are you sure you don't have it with you? Did you check the room properly? Did you even bring it with you?" "Of course I did, Noah. This is your anniversary party. I was going to look my best, but now my jewelry is gone." Susan started to ugly cry in front of everyone. People were consoling her and my husband looked pretty upset. Meanwhile, me and Julia were rolling our eyes because we knew what was up. We stayed quiet for a while to see how Susan would convince everyone that I had stolen her jewelry. When people asked her several questions about the jewelry, she tearfully replied to everyone. But suddenly she faked looking shocked and acted like a light bulb went up in her head, and she said, "Wait a minute. Now I get it. My jewelry has been stolen. I know who might have taken my jewelry. I know who did this." "Mom, what are you talking about? I'm sure you have misplaced it and it's lying somewhere here. We don't have a lot of people coming over our house, so how would it get stolen?" "Oh, Noah, you don't understand. No one broke into the house or came from outside to steal my precious jewelry. It is your greedy wife who took it." Everyone gasped as Susan said those words. She was, of course, pointing to me as the culprit of the missing jewelry set. Noah looked shocked and sort of embarrassed at what Susan was saying. I knew he trusted me and wouldn't believe for a second that I'd stolen from his mom. Sure, he loved his mom, but he also loved me a lot. I knew that. Just like I said, Noah immediately defended me. He said, "Mom, I don't think this is fair. You're throwing false accusations at Skylar. She will never do something like this. You must have misplaced." No, Noah. You have to believe me. Remember how Skylar gushed about my heirloom jewelry? She knew I would never let her have it. So she stole it from me. Mom, those are some really baseless accusations. Skylar was only complimenting the design. She never once asked you to give her the necklace. Noah, my poor child, you are blinded by love. You have to see how vile and greedy your wife is. She is the one who stole my jewelry. That's why she never asked to borrow it from me. She wanted it for herself. At this point, Noah and Susan got into an argument. The rest of the guests just kept looking between them and me. It was honestly very embarrassing. To be accused of theft on my own anniversary was something I never contemplated. But things happen and we must make the best of the situation. And I was definitely going to do that. You have some nerve to stay in my house and make accusations about me. You think I'm a lowly thief who would go after your jewelry? You are dead wrong, Susan. I am above that. Don't try to act all innocent and angelic, Skylar. I know for a fact that you took my jewelry. Last night I saw you going into my room and coming out with a bag. I didn't think anything of it since it's your house. But now it all makes sense. You were stealing my jewelry. Like I said, Susan, you need to stop making baseless assumptions. You have no right to ruin my reputation without any evidence. Who knows what you did with your jewelry? Don't blame it on me. Okay then, If I'm lying, why don't we go and check your room? I am 100% positive that I will find my jewelry there. We have plenty of witnesses as well. Mom, you cannot just invade our privacy like that. It's rude and disrespectful. Leave it be, Noah. At this point, I don't care. Your mom had taken it too far. If we don't allow it, everyone here will always doubt that I am a thief. It's a big allegation, Noah. Noah looked really torn. He knew that his mother was throwing a tantrum because she didn't like me. But no one could ignore the fact that the jewelry did go missing, and Susan had already blamed me for it. I needed to do everything possible to clear my name. So Noah sighed and told his mom to go check our room. We all went, and people started looking around. Susan, the stupid woman she is, went straight to my closet to pull out the jewelry box that I am sure she had hidden there herself. She screeched and said, Look, Noah, I found my jewelry. It was in your wife's closet. I was right. She freaking stole my stuff because she is greedy and jealous." "What? This is impossible. I know my wife wouldn't steal jewelry from you. I don't know how it got there. You didn't take it, right, Skylar?" "Of course I didn't, Noah. You know I'm not a thief." "Oh, really, Skylar? Then how did my previous jewelry set end up in your closet?" "There is no way you can get out of this, Skylar. You should have confessed and given me my stuff back." "I'm sorry, Noah, but I think I need to call the police." Noah stood there looking dumbfounded while Susan called the police. Whispers were going around the room and many couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was peak humiliation for me, but I didn't do anything. I simply waited for the police to arrive while Susan berated me. She called me names and said some awful stuff about me. She said, "Noah, this is it. I know you didn't believe me when I said that Skylar is a gold digger. I'm sure now you know that I was right. You need to get smart and divorce her. No one wants a thief in the family. She will get arrested by the cops now anyway." "Mom, I don't think it was wise of you to call the cops. You may not like what happens next." "What do you mean, Julia?" "I wasn't going to let Skylar get away with theft. People who commit crimes should be punished. There should be no room for mercy, or else they will get worse." "I think Julia's right, Susan. You shouldn't have called the cops. This will only turn worse for you. But since you already called the cops, there's no going back." "How will this turn worse for me when you are the one committing a crime? I would love to see that smug smile off your face." At that point, I simply started to laugh at her. Julia was also smirking and shaking her head. Everyone looked at me like I was crazy. I was supposedly getting arrested, but I was laughing anyway. People were bound to think that I was crazy. I calmed down and said, "Susan, I must say, you had a brilliant plan in mind. It is truly remarkable how you carefully planned to trap me and make me look like a thief." "What? What do you mean you are a thief since you stole my stuff?" "Oh God, Mom, have some shame. You are really crossing all limits. We know that Skylar didn't steal your jewelry. It's all a trap you set to make her look guilty." Julia shocked everyone with that declaration. Susan looked a little nervous when Julia said that. Still, she wasn't going to give up her plan. She acted all innocent and clueless and said, "What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. Julia is the thief." "Quit the act, Susan. You thought that you would plan to trap me and I wouldn't know? Julia told me everything. She told me you were going to accuse me of theft and trap me. I knew it before the party." "How dare you say that? You are influencing my poor child and making her say things. You have no proof of your claims." "Mom, we didn't have proof that you told me about your plan, but we do have a better way to prove what you did." "That's right. Now, to protect my reputation, I will tell you what proof I have. You called the cops, so I would have had to reveal this anyway." "What do you mean, Skylar? What proof are you talking about?" "Did you forget that we have cameras in the house?" Guys, the look on Susan's face was freaking funny. She turned as white as a ghost and started to shake a little. She had totally forgotten this little fact. Maybe she assumed we only had cameras in the front yard? She may not have thought that the inside of my house also had cameras. Noah also suddenly remembered this, and he said, "That's right, even I forgot about the cameras. We have cameras in the hallway with a clear view of every room from outside. We can check that for the true story. Why would we do that, Noah? I'm your mom and I'm telling you that Skylar stole from me. We don't have to prove my words. Why are you going back now, Mom? I thought you wanted to get to the bottom of this. I don't believe for a second that my wife is a thief. Even if you don't want to see the proof, I do. I need to see with my own eyes that she stole from you. Otherwise, I wouldn't believe it. Susan did her best to stop Noah from seeing the CCTV footage. I pulled up the saved footage on my phone and we started to look through the videos. Meanwhile, the cops arrived and were given a brief rundown by everyone. Susan immediately went to them and said, "Officers, you need to arrest my daughter-in-law, Skylar. She's stolen my jewelry. We found it in her closet. She's a criminal. You need to arrest her now." "I don't think so, Susan." "Officers, I have proof that my mother-in-law trapped me and is making false claims against me." "Ma'am, do you have solid proof against your mother-in-law?" "I do have solid proof, actually. My home has cameras. This is the footage it recorded from yesterday." I gave my phone to the officers to see. Noah and the rest saw that footage later. The footage clearly showed that Susan took her jewelry box from her room and went into my room when I wasn't home. When she came out, she didn't have the box with her. It proved that Susan had put her jewelry box in my room on purpose. Everyone was shocked, and Noah, straight up, started to shout at Susan. Susan looked at him with fear in her eyes and actually started to cry. I had never seen Noah so angry. He said, "Mom, how could you do this to my wife? Skylar has been nothing but kind to you, and you backstab her like this? What is wrong with you?" "Noah, please let me explain." "No, just no. I don't want to hear anything from you, Mom. I'm done. I am so done with you. You tried to destroy my wife's life and reputation on our anniversary. I will never forgive that. I seriously cannot believe how low you stooped, Mom. God, I'm ashamed of having a mom like you. I don't think I want any contact with you from now on." "Julia, you are absolutely right in your decision. In fact, I have the same thing in mind. Mom, we are done. Don't ever come near me or my wife again. We will go no contact with you." Hearing that, Susan started to cry very loudly. She clutched Noah's arm and tried to reason with Julia as well. She was begging them to forgive her. It was pathetic, and the guests were shaking their heads at Susan. Most of the guests were family, so they didn't hold back their criticisms against Susan. Not one person stood in her support. Finally, the cops told me, "Ma'am, do you know that you can file a report against your mother-in-law for these false accusations?" "Yes, I do know that, officer. Thanks for reminding me, though." "So, would you like to go ahead and press charges?" "I would suggest you do that. We will arrest her now and get her out of your way. I see you have a party to host." "Yes, officers, I would like to press charges. Please arrest her and accept my apology for this drama. Noah, you don't mind, do you?" "Absolutely not, Skylar. What Mom did was horribly wrong. You should be pressing charges. I give you my full support." Suddenly, it was all too much for our dear Susan. The cops descended on her and were handcuffing her while she struggled. They did warn her that they could charge her for resisting arrest, but Susan wasn't in her right mind. She screamed and cried while begging Noah and Julie and even me for forgiveness. She said to me, "Skylar, please don't do this to me. I'm your mother-in-law. What will people say when they see me get arrested? You didn't care when you called the cops on me. Now, did you? Why should I care? I'm right to get you arrested. You have wronged me." "I'm sorry, Skylar. I shouldn't have done this. Look, we're family. We can solve this between ourselves. There is no need to get the cops involved." Now, Susan. I distinctly remember you saying that criminals should not be spared or else they will get worse. Seeing that you can easily evolve into a menace to this society, I absolutely have a duty as a concerned citizen to get you arrested." Susan looked shocked when I threw her words back at her. She also kept crying and mumbling apologies while everyone criticized her. The cops didn't waste much time and took her away. Me and Noah went with them to the police station to file a report. Meanwhile, Julie stayed behind to tend to the guests. After me and Noah got to the police station, we filed an official report. I was going to sue her for good. She had done enough damage in my life and escalated badly. But still, I wanted Noah to be completely on board with me too. I said, "Noah, are you sure you're okay with this? If you are not comfortable with a police report, we can always go back." "No, Skylar, we're not going back without a police report. We need to do this now. I have failed to protect you from my mom. She was about to destroy your life. I can't put this past me. You know that I didn't doubt you for a second, right?" "I know, Noah. Your mom being a psycho is not your fault. It's completely on her." Noah felt very guilty for not being able to protect me better. I understood his pain. He did love his mom very much. It's difficult to know that the woman who gave birth to you is an evil woman. But he still gave me the go-ahead to file the report, and so I did. He also promised never to let Susan back in our lives. We agreed to go to couples counseling to get a better grip on our marriage. Noah and I did return to the party, and we decided to continue with the celebration. The food was there, the people were there, and we were surrounded by supportive family and friends. We had no reason to just discard everything for one person. It was our anniversary after all, so we resumed the celebrations and had a blast. Julia also had a great time too. All this while my dear mother-in-law Susan was rotting in jail. So Susan didn't want the case to go to court after all. She made a settlement with my lawyer. I got a decent chunk of money while she got away with what she did. I really hope she changes her behavior after that. I say I hope because we are no longer in contact with Susan. Noah, me, and Julia all cut her off. So did some of her family members. The others simply don't entertain her anymore, but didn't block her straight away. I mean, who knows when she would fancy trap other family members out of spite. Anyway, since we cut contact with Susan, my marriage improved a lot. The couples counseling helped as well. We are currently expecting our first child and plan to keep our dear son away from Susan too.